Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headline. This is our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we examine headlines from our city, from our state, and from our country in search of mostly good news. If there's bad news, we will report them as well, but we try to focus on the positive. And we also examine what's going on with all our friends that join us on a regular basis. It's great to see all of you joining us this Monday, November 15th, and it's great to hear your comments, your ideas, your suggestions about how to have a better life, a more connected, more grounded life here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. I woke up with itchy nose as usual, but that's just the way it is, I suppose. I hope everybody's doing great. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I hope some of you, oh my goodness, yes, Paco is in high res. I did some... Paco is in high res. I did some replugging and repurposing of equipment, and I'm seeing questions about it. Did you get a new microphone? Says Bill. No, I just did some well-deserved equalization on my voice so that I would sound a little better, and I repositioned the microphone. We did a couple of things that we needed to do that were due just to try to give you a better experience here. Not that you need to look at me better. Ultimately, what I need you or want you to connect with is the content, not my beautiful gray beard. Anyhow, enough about that. We have interesting news this week. We have some good news, some fun news, some sad news, some important news. So we have a little bit of everything as usual. But before we go there, as always, if you are new, okay. So everybody notice that with this comment, Michael Bufford has now officially agreed to be interviewed by Coffee and Headlines. I will put it up again. Michael Bufford has just said, now I can come on. I will look as good as you. Of course you can come on. I don't know that you will look as good as me, but you have spoken, my dear. So we want to know more about Michael. Such a nice person and such a great business person and such a great host in his restaurants. But enough about that. Again, if this is your first time here, please let us know by writing the word new in your comment. And this way, we will be so very happy to welcome you. And if there's something really important that you wish to bring up during the broadcast, we will get to all the comments at the end of the broadcast, and it helps us look for your important comment if you add a letter Q at the beginning of it. So let us get the ball rolling and see what we have in store for us as we begin this November week. Of course, with the microphone down here, I'm just worried that I'm going to trip against it, but I'll get used to it. Anyhow, Apparently, this was an excellent long weekend for Puerto Vallarta as far as hotel occupancy and restaurant attendance are concerned. With the knowledge that local hotels can now operate at 100% capacity, thousands of Mexican nationals flocked to our city and other places in Banderas Bay to celebrate the Mexican Revolution? Well, maybe not, but definitely to enjoy a nice vacation. As a reminder, November 20th is the important date in which Mexico celebrates the beginning of an armed conflict known as the Mexican Revolution, but the official holiday is celebrated today being the third Monday of the month. Later in this week, we will dive into the origin of the Mexican Revolution as well as its outcome. In the meantime, do expect official offices, banks, and things like that to be closed today and to be back in business as of tomorrow. This is not nice news, but it is very important. Residents of Los Sauces and Aralias, excuse me, are reporting a wave of burglaries that has increased in recent weeks. And unfortunately, this is a relatively common situation as we get close to the holiday season. Unfortunately, when these things happen and the police are called, by the time they arrive, the burglars are long gone, so no one is apprehended. There is a neighborhood watch in place, so if you live in either one of these neighborhoods, I'd suggest acquainting yourself with the neighborhood watch and being mindful of your property, your locks, your keys. I understand from the article that we're referring to that there have been people that get not oh gosh, what's the word in English? Robberies to people that are just walking about. There have been parts of cars that have been removed and other dreadful incidents of the sort. So please watch yourselves when you're out and about. Watch your belongings and make sure that you don't get caught off guard. In a totally unrelated incident, though, two local policemen found themselves in hot water back in September for abuse of authority and ultimately not responding to a cry for help from a woman who was being assaulted by her ex-boyfriend. At the time, the victim denounced the two members of the police force, one of which was a woman, with a local judge in charge of cases involving violence against women. It did not help the cops that they didn't even fill out the mandatory paperwork after the incident, so they didn't report anything. Ultimately, the judge filed in the woman's favor, in the victim's favor. The judge suspended the two cops, sentencing them with specialized courses in human rights, 120 hours of community service each, a public apology, 6,000 pesos for the woman that denounced them, and 4,000 additional pesos to be donated to the Puerto Vallarta's Women's Association program for low-income children with cancer. Tómala. That's what happens when you are not a good cop. Moving right along. Now that the worst of the COVID-19 pandemic seems to be over, at least for now, more events are returning to Puerto Vallarta. In this case, we learned that the third edition of the Puerto Vallarta Open tennis tournament will return this month, in a week actually, from November 22nd to November 28th. The event will feature over 60 tennis champions from several countries. The tournament will take place at the Parota Park next to the Puerto de Luna Hotel. For tennis fans, it is worth mentioning that the first two editions of the Puerto Vallarta Open were named Best World Tennis Tournaments in 2018 and 2019 by the ATP Tour. The ATP Tour is a worldwide top-tier tennis tour for men organized by the Association of Tennis Professionals. So if you want more information about this, if you're a tennis fan, I will leave you with the official website in the show notes. As you can see, there are 6 days, 7 hours, 43 minutes before the event begins. So this should be an exciting thing for those that enjoy tennis. Let us now skip over to the weather just to see what's going on, and we'll take it from there. Okay. Who knew AI upscaling could turn Grand Theft out of 3 into Cyberpunk 2077. Well, I will give someone a hug and a kiss if you can tell me what that reference is about. No, I'm just kidding. I really have no idea what snarky carrot weather is talking about today, but I can tell you that it is 28 degrees, feels like 20. Whoa, feels like 29, and humidity is only 46% at this time. How wonderful is that? Our temperature for Fahrenheit, for the Fahrenheit gang, is 83 degrees, and we start our week with a humid and partly cloudy day, high temperature 31, low temperature 21. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we can expect a humid and partly cloudy day as well, with a high temperature of 30, low temperature of 19. And on Wednesday, we'll have a clear day, clear hump day, with a high temperature of 30, low temperature of 19. Yes, fall, winter weather is coming back, and this is a good thing. Barry asks, am I muted? I certainly hope I'm not. If I am muted, I would like to know. But I think I'm not muted. Everything seems to indicate that I am here, and all is good. Anyhow, let me continue with a couple of other things that I put together for you today. Yes, so El Buen Fin ends tomorrow. I wonder if anybody shopped for any good deals. I know a dear friend of mine scored an awesomely huge flat screen TV at Costco last week, so I anticipate I won't see much of her in the next few days. And of course, you know, there are good deals, and then there are some shady ones. Take this shop, this liquor store in Guadalajara, for example. They were selling liquor at 30% off. Unfortunately, when they displayed the deal, they failed to clarify if there was a maximum number of bottles or cases one could buy. So when these nice people attempted to purchase 18 cases of premium tequila, the store frowned and said, no, you can only buy 3 boxes. But the customers frowned back. They got in touch with the Consumers Protection Bureau, and bam, tequila for the whole year, saving themselves over 100,000 pesos. If you are looking for a good deal, El Buen Fin ends tomorrow. And now I want to touch base briefly on an unprecedented incident we enjoyed on Saturday. On Saturday, we were minding our own business, talking about a beautiful music video by Natalia Lafourcade, and I was trying to give you some context to the video. And in doing so, I showed you some stills from the video, and this did not seem to agree with Sony Music Entertainment, because halfway through the broadcast was blocked in, what did they say, 249 territories. And all of a sudden, you found yourselves watching but unable to comment. Unfortunately, this is the way it is. You know, if you show photographs that do not belong to you, or video that does not belong to you, you get suspended or you get interrupted, which I think is absolutely fascinating to think of. All the live broadcasts that may be going on Facebook at any given time. There's circuitry or minions in place, automation that detects that you are showing images that you shouldn't be showing. So the video was made unavailable by the rights owner in 249 territories throughout the world. So when I realized this, I was like, well, you know, it's ultimately we're Facebook guests. You know, for me to get all bent out of shape or huffy and puffy would have made me no better than, for example, all the tourists that come here to Puerto Vallarta and disregard the local mandate. So, you know, we are guests at Facebook, and so be it. But of course, I thought to myself, if Facebook is going to get this ugly with me, I don't know. I mean, YouTube, if I upload this to YouTube, they will probably try to circumcise me again without anesthesia or something horrible like that. That was a bad joke. But as it turned out, I uploaded the video to YouTube, and YouTube had absolutely no problems with it. I did not even choose to monetize it, just in case, because ultimately one does not want to be flagged about these things. But unfortunately, the whole incident gives me pause about this whole adventure of talking about music. Unfortunately, it gets complicated when you want to talk about music and you want to play musical examples, and these come from recordings. So, um, you learn as you go, and I appreciated the support that I got from everybody that took the time to comment. We will continue to find clever and smart ways to continue sharing the wonderful music of Mexico and other places, of course, with you as long as you remain interested in hearing about music. And of course, our last headline before we get into our chit chat section has to do with the Casa Museo Puerto Vallarta. They've been having these monthly open houses for people to get better acquainted with the new history of Puerto Vallarta Museum. And they will have another open house this coming Saturday. A great opportunity to find out what they've been up to, how they're doing with their fundraising efforts to open the museum, which they're hoping to open to the public sometime this coming year. Yes, sometime in 2022. And with that said, I think we can turn this whole adventure over to our chit chat section. And let me see what everybody is up to beyond these wonderful good mornings that I always appreciate so much. Even a meow to Luna. Thank you very much, Scott. Let's see what we have. Da 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 da. We answer that. We answer this. Once again, Michael, before it can come on because he's going to look as good as me. Absolutely, Michael. And it makes your face look thinner. Oh, God bless you, Colleen. I needed to hear that. Oh, good heavens. Albert says, yes, an interview with Michael. He's been so stubborn, but I will try to get to it. Interview with Michael would be great. There you go. Michael, feel the pressure. Chris asks, is the pier getting some maintenance lights? Have been off? Are they working on it? Not that I know of. I have not seen any headlines to that effect. But how nice it would be if they're giving it maintenance, and how unfortunate it is if the lights have been off because it looks kind of scary. Let's see what else we have. Karen says, met Michael Beaufort last week when eating at Bravo's. Both he and the meal were thumbs up. Yay. Yay. Matthew says, along the same lines as the tennis tournament, I wonder if the PV Jazz Festival will ever return. Well, Matthew, I can only hope that it will. I remember before the pandemic, I was heavily involved in what was the new Puerto Vallarta World Music Festival, which had its first presentation. And then, of course, the pandemic came. And as I mentioned earlier, hopefully, little by little, all these important events that are fun to enjoy and that are magnets for tourism will continue to return to our city. Let's see. I think we confirmed that I'm not muted. Sly says, no mutation here. I love it. Oh, Carol, Mazel Tov. Carol got a new fridge at El Tío Sam. I hope you got a good deal. That is wonderful. Patty reports on 6 huge whales. They have arrived. That is fantastic. Again, whale watching in the winter months is one of the most wonderful experiences one can have here in Puerto Vallarta. I so much appreciate your comments about music. Every time we talk about music and every time we talk about anything and we learn that it has transformed you or changed your life in any way, this is what we do, and this is what makes us very, very happy. Ryan says, circumcision without anesthesia surely requires tequila by the case. Thank you very much for that. Let's see. Barry says, all good, thanks. I'm visiting Barry. I am Maureen. I hear you are a big knitter, so am I. Where do you buy your yarn and what do you create? Uh, First of all, hola Maureen, how nice to see you. I like to make necklaces, I like to make bracelets. Now that it's getting a little cooler, I've been making scarves and I'm presently working on a shawl that I am calling my Cinepolis special because that is what I plan to wear to the movies this winter when it gets chilly in there. I make coasters. See, here's a little, yips, come on, focus. Focus? No? Yeah, there you go. I make coasters for my coffee. I make small things. Where do I buy yarn? There are several yarn shops in town. One is located on Calle Juarez. There's another one located on Calle Viena, and there's another one located on Lázaro Cárdenas. I don't remember the names or addresses specifically, but if you send me a nice note, I'll be happy to give you specifics. Oh, Matthew is bonding with his new Kindle. Congratulations. And lots of chingaderas at Body Shop. That is so wonderful. Let's see what else we have. Kathy here. Do you have any recommendations for Christmas chorale music? Love listening to that music. Oh my God, yes, I do. I do. I'm not sure if you would like to know of specific recordings or you would like to know of concerts. But let me put something together, Kathy, and hopefully we will also coordinate that interview that I would love to do with you about how you enjoy your life here in Puerto Vallarta as someone who is attached to a wheelchair most of the time. And we expressed interest in knowing about this. You and I are friends. We know each other, so I know how wonderful the life you created with Dan is, and I'm sure other viewers would like to know. So how about we trade? I'll let you know on some of my favorite Christmas recordings, and you let us in on your insight on surviving Puerto Vallarta as a wheelchair user. Let's see what else. Janet got her debit card skimmed at the bank between Navy Hospital and Port. So sad to hear that. That is just horrible. I can only say I'm sorry, and hopefully, we, this happens to all of us at least once, and I think it's a horrible thing, but it makes us more watchful of everything that is going on around us. So hopefully you'll be able to record whatever you need to record, recover whatever you need to recover sometime in the near future. And this, my friends, brings us to the end of our broadcast. Pretty much. I don't see any more cues. I don't see any more comments. I wonder what you guys are going to be up to this week. For me, it's going to be a fun week connecting with a couple of people from the broadcast, people that are visiting. And of course, there's nothing new on the movie theater, so I'm working on my shawl so that I can wear it next time that I go to the movie theater, and hopefully it'll be a nice and mellow week. I had an interesting conversation with friends after. You may recall that on Saturday we were talking about COVID apprehension versus crowds apprehension. And it's interesting because, yes, COVID continues to be a very important concern for many of us, but equally affecting is the crowds. So many of us are just not used to crowds anymore. So we will learn to coexist with crowds as we move forward. But enough about that. What's important is we have another week, and the weather is getting so much better. And I hope this will be the beginning of a good week for you. I hope you'll stay kind and happy and well fed and take good care of yourselves and all that good stuff. And that's it. I'm rambling, which means it's time to go. Have a great week.